this is the last day of the event. It's pretty important. So it was either get Tim to drive me and film, and have to and need to rush, or not have him drive me and film and stay and have fellowship with everybody. And it was one of those days after all the heat exhaustion that I have been experiencing this week. I really need him to come. So my intention is to be not as lengthy as I can be sometime. But I do want to revisit a couple of things that came through the last time I was here. One of the things that I said, and I'm hoping those of you who were here were able to remember it because I think it is so important. One of the things I said was that everybody is a mix. We're all a mix. There is no quote unquote saint who doesn't have a bit of sinner in him or her. And there is no quote unquote sinner who doesn't have a bit of saint in him or her. Everybody is a mix. And this is the teaching of the yin-yang symbol, where we have one swirl that is black, but it has a little white spot in it, and we have one swirl that is white with a little black spot in it. So there are times when I am feeling in any way self-righteous or better than someone, I'm forgetting that I'm a mix. I'm focused on the idea that I have it together and someone else doesn't. I didn't speak this last time, but I want to confess to you that many years ago when I was partnered with Johnny Earl and we were doing our ministry, we were located for a while in Florida, in Miami. And we were doing concerts at all the Unity churches around the country and a few out of the United States, and all of the Science of Mind churches and all of the Course in Miracle centers. And I was looked at by a lot of people as really having myself together, really being, there were people who approached me and said things to me that were not comfortable to me because they were failing to see me as a mix. They were saying things to me like, oh my God, all you are is light. And I would say, oh no, I'm not. I know me. I am not all light. What you see me do is come and preach and sing and do my ministry and do my workshops and lay on hands. I've got a whole lot of light. I mean, in absolute truth, we are all light. But I'm talking about in the relative frame, on this planet, in the field of relativity, I am not all light. I've had little kids in New York come up and say to me, looking up at me, oh my God, you're something else. I want to grow up to be just like you. And I always squat down and say, oh no, find somebody else to be more like. My job is to stop being me so that I can be more of the mind and heart, as Sister Schiffer reminded us of, more of the mind, heart, and spirit of something above me and beyond me. Something that I am at one with in the absolute, but in the field of relativity, I still have my work to do. I'm a yin-yang. I'm grateful that many people see me more like the white spiral with a little dark circle than the dark spiral with a little white circle in it. I'm grateful for that, and that is my work. But also my work is never to forget that I have that little black spot in me. And if I remember that, it can stop me from becoming self-righteous. It can stop me from looking at people who I'm judging to be that dark spiral. It can stop me in my tracks and make me go, I'm no one to talk. No one. We are all a mix. Every single one of us. And I remember one time when I was living in Miami where Johnny and I had come from doing a very powerful weekend-long workshop that I was facilitating, where I preached and I taught and I was my highest self. And we were walking back from the sanctuary to the apartment where we lived, and in Miami, there are lots of neighborhoods that are close together. One looks affluent, and it's bordered by one that is just a devastated. neighborhood, and many cities are like that. Miami is not unique, of course. Washington, D.C. is blatant with that. You can have one neighborhood right against, and it's almost like one is state-of-the-art and one is third world. So we were traveling on our way back to our apartment through what looked more like a third world kind of a reality, where the people had very little, almost nothing. And a lot of them were very, very depressed, and a lot of them were numbing their depression. So it was the kind of neighborhood that you walk through where you would see like a lot of street people, and there would be people laying passed out with like bottles of cheap wine or cheap whiskey laying beside them. There'd be people passed out with needles around them, and people in filth. And after doing a whole weekend long workshop about we are all one and everyone being a mix, and how all of us are equal in the sight of the Creator, I found myself as we were walking through looking at the people, and I thought I was being a holy person saying this to myself and then to Johnny. And the words that I was thinking were, had it not been for the grace of God, there go I. The first thing that occurs to me when you say, had it not been for the grace of God, there go I, you're assuming that that person is not you. You have to assume that. And then you have to assume that you're in a better place than that person. So I mean, there were a lot of people, and every one of them I passed, the thought was, had it not been for the grace of God, there go I. I would say to the guy laying with needles around him, had it not been for the grace of God, there go I. I would say to the people over there passed out with their bottles around them, had it not been for the grace of God, there go I. I would say about the woman there who was lying in her own urine, and her kid was with her and didn't have his diaper changed and looked hungry and his nose was running. And I felt so holy. I felt so self-righteous that, thank God, I'm not you. Had it not been for the grace of God, there go I. And then I have a voice in my head that I believe is the voice of Jesus. I've recognized it since I was a child, and it speaks gently to me. So while I'm probably on the dozenth person walking through this neighborhood that I'm saying, had it not been for the grace of God, there go I, and I hear the voice that I know to be Jesus go, psst, psst. What you're saying is not true. What you're saying is self-righteous. What you're saying is a declaration that you have got your act together and they don't. And you're crediting me and my grace for you not being them. This is the true statement. Drop, had it not been for the grace of God. Drop those 9 words and then speak the truth. The truth is, there go I. I am that person. I am these people. I am at one with them, and they are at one with me. I'm at one with them in their struggle, and they are at one with me in the struggles I have made it through. So it's not, had it been for the grace of God, there go I. It's, there go I. And that changed and I wept like a baby. I burst into tears. It was like someone had just let me out of prison. A prison of self-righteousness and a prison of my own making. Just to get that entire new flip. It was a whole new take. There go I. And the compassion that was in my heart for them was not just the compassion that I would have for a family member or a child of mine, but it was the same compassion that I would have for the child that I am. When I look at my own baby picture, my baby picture inspires me. I look at that guy and I go, you're who I work for. You are who I work for. I'm working to return you to the innocence that I see in your eyes in this photograph. I am working to undo any possible reason, any possible excuse that you have for not being as bright as you were when you entered this realm. You have the power to do it, and you can do it, and it takes being very much on purpose. So that's something that I wanted to bring to you to remember. You are everyone, and there go you. So that when you are out and about this coming week or throughout the rest of your life, and you find yourself having a thought that it was hiding in holiness, that lie was, that judgment was hiding in the guise of holiness. I mean, the words sound awesome. Had it not been for the grace of God, there go I. Sounds like a guy who's really got his stuff together. But it's the statement of a guy that doesn't have his stuff together, who is lost in an erroneous misconception that he is not one with everyone. Everyone. I used to think that rich people had something more together than people like me. And I would be around really wealthy people, and I would be in awe of them. Oh my God. It's like being around a movie star, being around somebody who's beyond the human. Oh my God. How much money? 500 million. Oh my God. It's the flip side of the same thing. No, there go I. I used to, without saying it, have if God would give me more grace, there go I. If God would bless me with more prosperity, there go I. But it was the same thing I did with the people on the street. I distanced myself. I pretended that I wasn't them. I saw us as disconnected. And anyone we feel disconnected from is a potential enemy who may attack us, or an enemy that we may attack first. It's someone who is outside of me, and therefore the power is outside of me. So I would like us to practice going, there go I, with everyone. Everyone means there is no single exception. One thing that I shared from this platform the last time I was here, I believe 3 weeks ago, was that in the absolute truth, everything is light. But light in the light cannot experience itself as light. So heaven, or the realm of God, is the realm of absolute light. But all of the aspects that were light, all of the souls that are pure light, could not experience themselves as light while they were in the light. If you're in a brightly lit room and you light a candle, you don't notice any light that it's giving to the room. The fluorescent bulbs and the big bulbs here, they're giving the light, so that a candle's being lit or a matchstick being lit, there's no way it can experience itself as light in the light. But if you turn off all of the lights and light one little paper matchstick, you get to see the experience of what light does, how it brightens a field of apparent darkness. And that is what we are doing here as the light. It is no mistake that we're here. I let you know the last time I was here that I did a workshop where I used to come out with a white board, and you can use this as a demonstration, this screen. If I were to take white paint and write the word light on this screen with white paint on that white background, you couldn't see the word. And if I said, what do you see? What do you see that I have to offer you here? You wouldn't be able to see, because it's white on white. However, if I took white paint and painted the word white on the back of this, even the people in the very back, if I said, what am I offering you? Even the people in the back would go, light. How can you see it? Because it's against a dark background. So we came to this planet as light, who wanted to experience ourselves as light, but we can only do it through a dark background. And we determined what a dark background is. If you put Hillary Clinton next to a background of Barack Obama, which some of us did some years ago, 8 years ago or so, many of us didn't see a great deal of light in Hillary. She was against Barack as a background. I'll speak for myself. I saw all this light in him. And so when in a field of relativity, when I related her to him, it's like, that child's got some issues. She's made some errors. I don't know if I trust that woman. But child, put her against the background of Donnie.
Oh boy.
Put her with Donnie, and suddenly the light in her shines forward. Because for me, being honest, putting her against Barack is writing light on that, and I don't get it. I don't see it. But with Donnie, it's like I took white paint and painted light on this. It's like, oh yeah, I see her light. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I don't know what was up with me 8 years ago, and now I see her. Yeah, we've all made some mistakes. We're all a mix, but she's the one. And if you were, some of you are not old enough to know some of the people who were on the scene. People like George Wallace. Some of us are old enough to remember George Wallace and some other people in the 60s. And Bull Connor, the one who had them hose down all of the people and clubbed them and sick dogs on them. If you put Donnie against the background of George Wallace or Bull Connor, suddenly you would be able to see much more of his light. Because in that case, according to me, it would be like writing Donnie in white against George Wallace and Bull Connor as black. I get to decide. But light needs the appearance of darkness. The light is real and the darkness is not, but it's very valuable. It serves as a background to allow us to experience the light. When the World Trade Center towers come down and people rush in to be helpful, including Timothy, and start digging through the rubble, the digging through the rubble and helping against the backdrop of what has occurred gave all of us goosebumps and tears in our eyes at how amazing it is that people rush in to be helpful, even in the presence of danger to their own lives. Whenever anything icky is happening and something kind of nice happens in the midst of it against that background, it's more than just kind of nice. It's pure light. And I told you when I was here, if I watch a movie where the father always loves the son, from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, he's just always telling this boy, I love you, you little rascal. Come here, give me another hug. I just can't do enough for you. I'm so glad God gave me you. That's a nice movie to me. But if you give me a movie where the son has always wanted the father's acknowledgement and the father never gave it, the father never noticed him, never touched him, never gave him a word of kindness, and I see the deep pain that it brings to that little boy and how he hurts and how he longs and how he prays for some acknowledgement from his dad and it's not forthcoming. and they keep it that way for 50 minutes of a 60-minute flick. But in the last 8 minutes of the flick, something occurs that changes the dad, and one day he looks at his boy and suddenly transforms and gives his kid the hug that the child has wanted all the years of his life. Then I'm bawling. I am crying like a baby, because they gave me a dad hugging his child against a dark shadow background of a child wanting it and it not being forthcoming. This is what we have come here for, to experience what the light looks like, what it feels like, and what it acts like against a field of apparent shadow or darkness. Because had we not come to this planet as souls, had we not embodied, we would have just been light in light forever. And light in light cannot experience itself as light. So this is the deal. We need the ego, because the ego is what allows us to be in a physical reality. It allows us to be in a relational reality, in a field of relativity. But the function of the ego was to get us here, to show us that everything is a mix and everybody is a mix, in order for us to do the remembering, to cause ourselves to remember, this is what appears to be, but what's really going on is that everything is light. So when God, the Creator, views everybody, Hillary, Donnie, Barack, George Wallace, Mother Teresa, the Pope, when God looks at anyone, God says, there go I. And Jesus' mission was to tell us how God sees the world. And so for those people who love Jesus and couldn't get enough of Jesus, and us like little kids, one day I want to grow up to be like you. Jesus says, as you deal with the least, in your opinion and according to your judgment, the one who is the least, how you relate to that person is how you relate to me, because I think what God thinks. When I'm thinking about Donnie, the Don, Mr. Trump, call him what you will. God says, and Jesus says, there go I. I am the least among you. And the word least is relative to your own judgments. Some of the people who we think are horrible and who we think have done deadly damage have groups of people who call them heroes. It's kind of like the cowboys and Indians. When the cowboys or the cavalry wins, it's a victory. When the Indians win, it's a massacre. But that judgment is stated by the cowboys. We were massacred. For the Indians, when they came into our village and wiped us out, that was the massacre. Our retaliating was our victory. We get to decide what we think is right and what we think is wrong, what we think is good, what we think is evil, who we think is good, who we think is evil, and we do it all the time. And in order to do it, you have to step outside of these. You can't do that when you're inside of these. And let me tell you something, it's okay, there is no judgment. Once more, God, the Creator, is not about shame or blame or getting a headache, or you getting on God's last nerve because talking crap about a bunch of people and going down, and God's just going, oh, when is she going to get it together? When is he going to get this out? No, God's just always going, there go I. That little rascal over there cutting up, that's my child. That little girl over there misbehaving, that's my girl. Don't you touch her. Don't you say a word to her. That's my girl, If I want to let her run crazy in church, she's going to get to run crazy in church. That's my child. Imagine being able to feel that way about everybody when they come up on the screen. Or you can have fun stepping outside the principles. I was thinking like last week, so many people are having so much fun. I don't go on Facebook very often, but when I check in on Facebook, and I got so many Facebook friends that I'm scrolling down, and I'm going, oh my God. There are hundreds of people having so much fun condemning Donald Trump. So I know they have adrenaline, they have excitement, they have life force, and they have groups of people who all agree the same thing. So they get together and they send messages back and forth, and can you believe it? And I saw so many people who seem so calm and so non-judgmental in my vantage point, and I go, oh, they saved it all for him. They're revealing things that I didn't know about them. I didn't know they could go off that much. And some of them are doing it 6 times a day. And some of them are actually 6 times a day typing things like, I wish people would just start talking about him. Every time he gets talked about, it gives him extra publicity. We should just, and I'm going,
You're talking about it.
You're talking about him 6 times a day. And I know you're having fun. I know you're having fun. There's a theory called the theory of the common enemy. And that is, if you have a family and you have several children in the family and they are always fussing and fighting, all you have to do is get a next door neighbor to mess with one of them. And then they band together and go after that neighbor. If the neighbors are battling and fussing and fighting with each other, you got to bring in somebody from another neighborhood, from across town, that comes in to start some crap with my homeboys in my neighborhood. And then these people who were fussing and fighting, they get together to band together because now we have a common enemy. If there is one thing that Donald Trump is doing more effectively than anyone else on the planet at this time, is that he is representing and being for so many people the common enemy. That we can band together as a tribe and condemn and talk about and go, oh my God, that ain't me. There don't go I. I gave you all an assignment, and I've given it to 3 or 4 churches over the last couple months, which is pray for Donald Trump. And I have people in my neighborhood, by the way, who over the years, they hate Barack Obama. They really think, some of them, that he really is the devil in disguise. They think he is nothing but a wolf in sheep's clothing. And so I give them the assignment, pray for Barack Obama. I give us the assignment, pray for Donald Trump. And then I check in with people, and Tim's a witness, like, have you been praying for Donnie? And it's so funny, a couple of the answers I got when I approached people this week. Have you remembered my assignment? Yep. Have you been praying for Donald Trump? Yes. And the way they say yes, it's like, yes. And I go, oh, what have you been praying? And it's things like, I pray that he will just get out of the race. I pray that he will get some therapy and get into his right mind. I pray that he will just drop dead. I said, no. Praying for Donald Trump means the light of God surrounds you, brother. You are the light of God. The love of God enfolds you. You are the love of God. The power of God protects you, Donnie. You are the power of God. The presence of God watches over you, brother. You are the presence of God. Wherever you are, Don, God is. And all is well. Praying for someone is to want for them what you want for yourself. I pray for his health. I pray for his vitality. I pray for his increasing prosperity. I pray for his peace of mind. I pray for harmony in his heart. I pray for endless creativity to flow through him like water turned on high through a hose. Why do I pray for him to have that stuff? Because that's what I want. What I wish for you, I'm wishing for me.
Amen.
What I deny you, I deny me. And so even though it can be so fun to get in our little tribes and groups where we all agree, oh, Don is hateable. He's judgeable. This is not me. This is not my normal way of being, but he stands out. We get to do all that. There was a show back in the 50s, and then Keanu Reeves remade it. He started it. Michael Rennie was the first actor, but it was called The Day the Earth Stood Still, and it was where spaceships came from outer space and hovered over every major city. And the message was, you all are on a fast track to killing each other because you're pretending you are not each other. You're pretending I'm me and you're not, we're us and they're not, and it has allowed you to wage war since history began and to spend all of your time and energy developing harsher and more capable ways of massacring and wiping out anyone who you think not to be who you are. It's not of their real eye. So sometimes after watching that movie, he said, we are here to let you all know. They're speaking to Russia, China, the United States, everywhere. We're here to let you know that though you're on a fast track to wipe each other out, we will be your common enemy. We will wipe you all out unless you learn to love one another. If you want to have contests, let them be the Olympics. If you want one country to show how powerful it is, how much it has together, join together in the Olympics. Otherwise, we will gladly be your common enemy. Tim's given me my time signal. That means my time is done. And that means I'm going to end by saying, God is in heaven. Heaven is in you. Holy is your name. God wants you to know you have nothing to fear. And there is nothing and no one to blame. You've been informed. Your captivity is over. You've been informed. In truth, you're free. And so it is.
Thank you, Lord, for this phenomenal message. Thank you for reminding us that we are one, and that when we have a hard time, the next song I'm going to sing is I Rest in Thee. Just know you rest in God, and you will reawaken.